Season 2, Episode 3, brought to you by The Weekend Sportsman. This episode is very special for me because I get a chance to go back and ride on some trails that I had not ridden on in probably 15 or 20 years. And we are here at the trailhead, crossing the road here, saying the car's giving us a wave to go across. But this is the beginning of the Marienville Trail up in the Allegheny National Forest here in western Pennsylvania. And we used to ride these trails with our friends and stuff probably 2 or 3 times a year. And it was neat to come back to this, to something I hadn't been on in so long, but there had been a lot of changes since I was there. Now, Eric's up there in the red quad. I grew up with him, and we've been riding together since we were teenagers, and behind him is his stepson, Jared. And they're in the quads, and I'm on the bike this weekend. But also the water there, I was surprised how much water there was because it was been so dry prior to this to find as many water spots and mud as we did. Now, one of the changes is this right here. We call this the Kennywood Bridge because it looks like the bridges at one of the local amusement parks, Kennywood. But when we were younger, we used to have to cross that creek. There were no bridges on any of the creeks or anything like that. You had to cross the water and to get across anywhere, but now there's bridges everywhere. This is the split off between the bike and the quad trail, or the ATV trail. Off to the left is the bike trail. It's a 26-mile loop, so you never touch anything different in 26 miles. And this is the ATV-UTV trail, which is a little different. You can take ATVs on the other one. There's another creek crossing, but you can't take the UTVs on the bike trail, only bikes and quads. So, like I said, a lot has changed, but yet again, it's still just one of my favorite spots. It's always so beautiful, up there, and they keep the trails much more maintained now than they used to. Like I said, they used to be like ruts and rocks and water, and now they're just, there's a couple little G-outs there. We call them G-outs, and what they are is they're water lines, so as the water comes down the hill, instead of making a rut down the center, it just kind of goes across the side. And for some reason here, I have no idea what I was thinking or looking at, but I completely missed the turn. I still don't know to this day what I was doing or thinking, but I missed the turn. There's Eric and Jared, and we stopped here because here's another one of those crossings that used to be, and this shows the 2 different loops. There's all kinds of ear loops, but we used to have to cross this here, not directly where the bridge is, but off to the right, and now they're all the bridges. Now, you see me throw up the 2-finger sign. I'm not going peace to everybody, but one of the rules is up there is if you're riding in a group, you put up how many fingers there are people behind you. So I was up front, so that means there was 2 in my group behind me. So if there was 1 person, I put 1, and if you're the last person in the group, you put up your fist, so showing that you are the last person in the group. But here we are, just kind of cruising back through. I kind of take the lead here a little bit, and I like the switchbacks a lot, the turns and the back and forth, and little uphills like this that have grooves in them, and you can, cut corners, and there's a lot of bermed areas that you can just kind of grab some on. Here is a road crossing, and those are the forestry rangers checking to see if you have your passes, because you have to have a pass, whether it be for a weekend, a day, or for the season, or you can get fined, and your bikes get inspected or taken or fined, and I think those guys there got fined, but obviously we didn't. So, again, it was really dry, so I'm surprised how much water there was on the trail, but it was nice because it kept the dust down. And this is also something new right here. We never had these before. This was areas that, get washed out and stuff. And they've kind of put this tile brick down there, and it kind of makes it like a little road, but it doesn't get all worn out and ruts and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. So that was different. So this section of the trail is what I would consider before the normal trail. Not a bad section of trail, just normal. So you rode stuff like this all the time, and then it would get worse from this rocky stuff. So this little uphill, I guess they haven't gotten to it yet, but that's kind of what it used to be all the time on its best set. Now, Eric and I have been riding together for so long that we do a lot of crazy things, and this time we decided to do a race. I'm on a 250, and he is on an 800cc quad, and he just walks away from me. 800cc's, that thing is crazy, and I'm just running through the gears, everything I can. He just walks away. Very unique vehicle, and he's like, hey, you got to ride it too. So, we switch off. I get over there, and the funny thing is that, I'm used to bikes with clutches and shifts, and I walk up there, and I'm like, wait a second, how do you shift? And he goes, you don't. You just turn the throttle and go. And I'm like, what? So I get on it, and I'm like looking for levers, and I'm like, there's no clutch, there's no nothing. I'm like, is this here? Is that the brake? I said the front or the back? And he goes, it's everything. So I just hit it and kind of go forward and like, okay, this is interesting, and I gun it. And I have to say, this was one of the most unique vehicles I've ever ridden. I'm shaking my head there because it kind of felt like an electric engine. Just the further you turned it, the harder it went, and there was no kind of like upshifting. And here I am trying to do fishtails on it, but it tracks really, really well. But it was just really amazing. And here's the last one I do, and I kind of get on both sides of the road, and I go, nope, I'm not going to do that anymore. So just ride it, and here I just tacked it straight out. I think Eric said he's had it up to like 80 miles an hour, but because it does have a speedometer on it, and it's just crazy. But it was one of the most unique vehicles I've ever ridden. But very happy to get back to my bike, my little XR. This area here, we stopped to get some water because we knew there was a natural spring there, but the only way now to get across, there used to be a bridge, is that. So that's how we had to go to the spring. So I'm going to speed it up just for entertainment purposes, but that's what we had to cross to get over to the spring to get water. And I tell Eric, you know, throw me the camera, Eric. And there we are, and now it's his turn to come across. But got our water, back on the trail again. Of course, I took off. I didn't want to get stuck behind the quads in the dust and stuff. And this is another section. This is a very long uphill that has these bricks in it again, and it's kind of been dubbed the Yellow Brick Road, even though it's not yellow, but the whole hill is nothing but those. And again, very something unique that I didn't expect to see before, that, you know, 15 years ago wasn't there. And I get a little tired following these guys once in a while, so I just kind of break out and do my own thing. Harry kind of looks back and just kind of lets me go. Again, a lot of little berms like this. The camera doesn't show it, but there's some, you know, some of these turns are pretty bermed well, and it's nice. It's fun to kind of like kick through them really fast. Take a few minutes here. We take the camera and take a look down the trail and see the beauty of all the places we get to ride on up there. But very, very thankful that I get the opportunity, and I do plan on going back. And here we are, ending the trail on day one. We did 2 days of riding, and there will be a second video on the 2 days. But this was day one, and I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, this is Michael Joseph saying take care, and God bless.